There's a very beautiful hadith in which the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ فَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ فِطْرِهِ وَفَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ لِقَاءِ رَبِّهِ. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he tells us that a fasting person has two moments of happiness. The first moment of happiness, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, is at the time of breaking the fast. And we all know what that means. We've all experienced that. Inshallah, we've all experienced that tonight. And then the second, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, is when the servant of Allah meets his or her Lord. When you meet your Lord, there's going to be a moment of happiness. And this just shows the principle that the scholars mention, and that is that al-jaza'u min jinsil amal, that the reward will be just like the deed that you do. So just like the deed of fasting that you do during the daytime of Ramadan, and the moments of happiness that you feel at the time of Maghrib when you break your fast, just like that, you'll also feel a moment of happiness when you meet your Lord. And of course, that moment of happiness cannot be compared to any other moment of happiness, right? It's going to be 100% worth it when you meet Allah Azza wa Jal on the Day of Judgment. And you are happy because you meet Him. And one of the reasons why you're happy because you've met Him is that you see the rewards of the fasting that you've done in this month. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow all of us to be happy when we meet Him. Allahumma ameen. Now there's something very beautiful about this hadith. And that is that not only do we get this moment of happiness when we meet Allah Azza wa Jal on the Day of Judgment, but this hadith serves as an analogy, as a blueprint for our entire lives. Just think about this for a second. You're fasting from early in the morning, right before the sun rises, before Fajr comes in, you stop eating. And then you are going to fast until sunset. Now, what do you fast from? You're fasting from a few things. The vast majority of things are still halal. Just a few things that you have to avoid. And then when the time comes at Salat al-Maghrib, then you can indulge. Then you can engage yourself in those things that you were trying to keep yourself away from. Just like that is life. In this entire life, we have to quote-unquote fast. Fast from what? Is everything haram? Is everything off limits? No. It's just a few things. A few things Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us, don't come near these things. And you can enjoy yourself beyond that. But wait for that day. Wait for the time to break your fast. Wait for that day when you will meet Allah Azza wa Jalla. And then He'll admit you into paradise. And then you can quote-unquote break your fast. And you can indulge yourself in whatever desires you want to indulge yourself in, because that's the time for it. So just like we fast every single day, just like that, this life is also an example of a fast, of holding ourselves back from things we're not supposed to do. So fasting teaches us about delayed gratification. Just as you keep yourself away from food and drink, when you eat at Maghrib time, that meal that you're eating, it's not like any meal. You've earned that meal. That meal doesn't taste like any other meal that you have outside of Ramadan. That's a special meal. And it makes all of the hours of fasting worth it. Just like that, when you meet Allah Azza wa Jal and you see that paradise, we ask Allah to enter us all into paradise. Ameen. But when you see it, when you look back at your life and how you spent your life in the obedience of Allah Azza wa Jal, it's going to be worth it. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to admit us into paradise. Ameen. We ask Allah to accept our fast. Allahumma ameen. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal that He allow us to enjoy and feel those moments of happiness when we break our fast. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal that we are also happy when we meet Him. Allahumma ameen. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum.